Hey there, my name is Keto and I'm part of staff here at Collective. Thank you so much for clicking onto this video. You are about to watch one of our messages from a Sunday service and I pray that it blesses you.
John, thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my experience. I was very quick to say yes because I knew I was going to flake. So when he sent the message, I was like, yes, let's do it. And then I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? So here goes. My name is Ramone. I am a husband, a father, and a teacher by profession. That will come in a bit later on. And I just wanted to introduce my beautiful family. If there's a picture that can go up. I know I sent it late. That is my wife and I. That is my wife she's just the best wife and the best mom to all three of us. At times, I'm in the naughty corner with the kids. Because I was the one that instigated all of the chaos. She does incredibly well to manage our home, the three of us, her job, all while meeting the responsibilities of motherhood and being a wife. And then our kids. On the left is Raya Rain. She's our firstborn, soon to be 5, headstrong, confident, knows exactly what she wants in life and just goes for it. She's very much leap first, think later. She's me. And she's also my greatest test in life. At 2 years old, her favorite Bible character was Goliath. As she got older, she started to understand, which side we were on. It took some convincing, but eventually we got there. And then on the right is Kiva King, our second-born, who just turned 3 last weekend and is the complete opposite of his sister. He will think long and hard before leaping. Like a sheep, he is docile. I Googled it. It means very quiet, easy to manage, and willing to submit under authority. He is my wife. Unless he's hungry or tired. Again, my wife. So, thank you again for the opportunity to speak. When I told my wife about this, I said, Pastor Jean asked me to speak, and she's like, okay, what are you going to speak about? I said, no, just my experience of parenting, and she was very quick to mention, you can say this, lack of freedom, lack of sleep, lack of time. I'm like, wait, hold on. I don't think the idea is to discourage people, so let me just take a whole different approach. Thanks for your input, but let me do it. I'll put it together. Pastor John asked me to share my experience of parenting in terms of shifting from life without children into life with children, and specifically how I've related to God during these different seasons. And if he did not specifically give me those points, I think we would have had a 4-week series, because there's a lot that we can talk about, like a lot. So a quick backstory. My wife and I started dating in 2010. We got married in 2017. We finished our studies, and then we moved overseas to work in Dubai in 2019 until 2001. And personally, in those 2 years, I felt that I was finally becoming the person that God has called me to be, because everything was just happening for us, Life was great. I was flourishing as a husband. I mean, there were times when, the single women in Dubai, they'd look at us, they'd be like, it made me feel good, hey, they're jealous of us. They see something. So that was happening for us, and, work was great. It started off difficult, but eventually we started getting recognition for the things that we were doing. And the only direction we could go was up. Kendall and I experienced God's grace like never before, and our faith in God had never been stronger. We arrived with a lot of faith in God and a lot of trust in what he was going to do for us. And then in 2021, we decided to move back for Kendall to give birth to Raya. And it was around this time, it just so happened that we were entering our desert season, when things started to take a turn, And I'm not talking about parenting, because that's a whole different desert season in its own. But I'm talking about just the gradual changes that started taking place in life. Things started getting a lot tougher, and things just weren't working out for us like it did in the previous 2 years. Being new parents, learning how to take care of a child, a lack of sleep, all of those things, it began to take a toll on us. just a few months before that, I was just becoming who I felt God wanted me to be. And like in any new season, you start to doubt yourself and you start to question yourself because, especially becoming a father for the first time, who am I meant to be as a father? And I'm sure Kendall felt the same way. Of course she did. We spoke about these things. What type of father should I be? Do I copy what I see other fathers doing? Especially those ones on social media that look like they have it all. They fit, they're strong, the kids love them, everything is going on for them. I hate those guys. Just makes you, it instills you with hope at the same time, just like, oh man, So this became a bit of like an existential crisis for me because now I had to find my place all over again, but this time as a father. Here's a simple example of that. I thought I had patience. Anyone here have patience? Hey, nobody. All right. So I thought I had patience, and as a teacher, I was commended for this on many occasions. Wow, you have so much of patience with these kids. And I'm like, yeah, well, it turns out that you have a lot of patience when the kids don't belong to you. Having my own children, I've had to relearn what it means to have patience, and daily I'm learning that over and over again. And there's times where I get it wrong as well. But there's always a moment for us to reflect and try and do it better. I learned that I can't claim to have something or have patience for that matter, or faith in God or trust in God until it is tested. Because I also thought that I had an undeniable faith and trust in God until it was tested. I made lots of promises to God. I'll never miss a Sunday at church. I'll make sure that I always pay my tithes no matter what happens. And those things slowly I started to break those promises, and not because I wanted to, because I couldn't manage those expectations that I placed on myself to begin with. One by one, these promises were being broken, and it's discouraging me at the same time. And in this desert season, God was breaking down all these outdated ideas and beliefs that I had in Him. My understanding of God was like a brick wall. Every single brick that was placed in was a way that I understood Him growing up. And it was also this wall was based according to my earlier experience and my younger experiences of Him. And God knew that this wall was a bit shaky. I needed a new encounter with Him and a new understanding. And slowly, even now, it's being rebuilt based on new experiences with Him. God knew that my old and simplified understanding of Him was not going to help me in this new season of my life. Things like prayer, tithes, having an authentic relationship with Him started looking different. And the challenges that I was experiencing in this desert season eventually got me to a place of greater understanding and a stronger and more authentic relationship with God. And then on to my next point. Having children gives me a glimpse of how God sees us as children. My kids, at times, can be disobedient. They can fight with each other. They can fight with us over the simplest of things. They can say hurtful words. My daughter says sometimes that when she's older, she's just going to leave me and I'm not going to live with her. I don't know. I was like, ouch. They can be mean, But I still love them, and I want the best for them. Especially when they're falling asleep at night and they look so innocent and peaceful. I just think to myself that, I love them so much. You're crazy, but I love you so much. In our lives, we sin and we're disobedient at times. And we think and we think to ourselves, how can God ever forgive me? And He looks at us in the same way. And for a moment, I make that connection and I realize that in the same way that I look at my kids and I think about how much I love them, God does the exact same thing with us. There's also another side to this. I'm not sure if all children are like this, but my kids are extremely forgiving. No matter how big of a fight we get into over that sweet or whatever they want at the time, or if I hurt them by accident while we're playing, when I say sorry and ask them to forgive me, with tears still in their eyes, they will say yes, and that's the end of it. It's never brought up again. I always pay attention, like, will they bring it up? If your friends hurt your feelings, like, the next day you're like, you've apologized, but, you did something. So I look out for that, like, do you remember? Like, there's none of that. It's a blank slate. And for me, it's such a beautiful reminder of God's grace and His mercy on us.
We've come to the end of our message, and I know that you were blessed by it. For more information, please go on to our website, which is www.collective.org.za. We upload these messages on a weekly basis, and I hope to see you next time.